Okay, this is the September 8th, 2020 meeting of the Berlin Library Trustees. As a preliminary matter, please note this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you. Take care not to screen share your computer. Anything you broadcast may be captured by the recording. This is Lynette Wheeler, Chair of the Library Trustees. Permit me to confirm all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me prior to me calling the meeting to order. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Jean Mitchell.
Here.
Linda Yates.
Here.
And staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Bob Hodge.
Here.
Right, with a quorum of trustees present, I call the meeting to order at 5:41 on September 8th, 2020. Introduction to remote meeting. This open meeting of the Library Trustees is being conducted remotely consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020 due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of COVID-19 virus. Specific information and general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of Berlin website at townofberlin.com. In order to mitigate the transmission of COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely and provide reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. While no in-person attendance of members of the public is permitted, every effort will be made to ensure the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post the town's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. The standard public comment portion of this meeting will accommodate limited public comments. For this meeting, the library trustees are convening using a Zoom platform as posted on the agenda identifying how the public may join. The public is encouraged to follow along during the meeting using the agenda unless I note otherwise. Supporting materials that are available this evening to members of the library trustees can be made available to the public by request. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, I will invite board members by name to provide comment, question, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Trustees and speakers on the agenda, please remember to mute your phone when you're not speaking. Please speak clearly in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until I yield the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in conversation with each other, please do so through me taking care to identify yourself. To the extent that our technical capability allows, public comment will be permitted during the public comment portion of the meeting as follows. Attendees' phones and other devices will be muted unless and until they raise their hand and are recognized by me to speak. I ask each member of the public who wishes to speak to identify their name, and I will afford each speaker time to ask a question or make a brief comment. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote.
Ta-da!
I need a water. All right. So first thing on the agenda is the previous meeting minutes, which we didn't get out. Linda, did you see my email from this afternoon?
I did not. I'm sorry.
It's okay. No worries. This is brand new.
So normally I would
Normally email them to us at some point by the, before the current meeting. So
okay.
At some point during today, you could have emailed them. That gives us a chance to look at them. So when we review the previous meeting minutes, we have them in front of us. And if we have any questions, we can ask you and correct it, that kind of thing. So we'll just move that to the next meeting. We'll review the last meeting, which was just that quick little thing. in this meeting's minutes then. So just, once you have these ones all typed up, you can either send it as soon as you do it, so you're not worrying about it,
Okay,
or you can send it to us, the day before the next meeting or whatever.
okay, so I'll send everybody both. And then at
Yeah.
the next meeting, we will approve both, correct? Review and approve.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'll say that the minutes were, what do I want to
Yeah,
say?
They're just delayed.
Yeah,
postponed to next meeting.
deferred
Exactly.
to next meeting.
Yep.
Okay,
And
my
then,
apologies for that. Okay.
no worries.
Mhm.
Brand new. You're not expected to know it all right off the
Yeah.
bat.
And I have to say, I'm still in Maine. It's like, I'm having a little trouble focusing, to be honest with you. So,
Don't worry
anyway.
about it.
all right.
All right.
All right. So we'll move on then to the director's report.
All right. Did everyone receive it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I guess the one thing that I should talk about a little bit is the library septic. Currently, and I think when I sent you this update about the bidding process, I also mentioned that the library currently is having a problem with the septic,
Yes.
and that problem is still ongoing. So Thursday of last week, custodian notified Highway Dave that there was an issue, so he brought CSI in to empty the tank, but there was still a clog, and they were working on it when I left for the weekend. And I contacted Dave over the weekend, and he said that they did not manage to unclog it. And so they haven't been here today either. So we did discuss this at the department heads meeting this morning
Okay.
with town administrator. So right now we have no water. Well, we can't use the water. So so that's the library as it is now. And the library septic bids, if you look through the email, you can see there were 7 bids over 2 different site visits, and only 2 people bid. They were widely disparate bids, and they also did not contain adequate information, so the town administrator had to turn them both down and restart the process. And I believe she sent either in that email or in a second one, a new schedule that she's planning to follow to get this process wrapped up in December
Yeah.
and have the project done in December, I believe. So unfortunately, not a lot of good news to do with the library septic.
Quick question.
Yes.
Should I get in contact with Margaret about drafting an extension for the septic money just in case? Because we had kind of bounced that around a little.
I think if you could,
It sounds like Margaret's gonna have it done by December, so.
yeah.
We had till next year, 2021.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
I
we
just
have
want to
till
make
next
sure.
fall. Yeah,
And
no, I know.
she also did get an extension from the local board of health because we were under their deadline as well.
Yeah.
So they are aware. They were here for the site visits, and she has been in contact with them. So I don't think we're too worried about the deadlines, just in getting someone to actually do the job.
Okay.
Someone who can write the bid the way it needs to be written.
Yeah, once they start, it'll be a quick process.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of discouraging. So in the meantime, we're using the 1870 if we need to use the facilities. We have a key, so and since the public in it is not invited into the building at the moment, it's just a few staff that are here. So we're gonna have to just hope that they will get this thing straightened out soon. And I'll keep you posted on that. Anything that I hear, any updates. Um,
Might be time to call Roto-Rooter.
That's what they're basically doing, I think, is
Yeah.
they're using something to try and clear a
Auger it out, yeah.
auger it
What,
out.
Tree roots can be nasty.
Yeah.
is there any talk about when people will be back in the library?
Well, I've been meeting with other local directors, doing Zoom calls, and also
Mhm.
with all of the library directors in the network are invited to these weekly calls. So I've been following what other town libraries are doing. I have had a few patrons say that they think that the library should be open. But we're following the guidelines that are out there for us from the state, from the town, and from our library network. And, Clinton is not open. Bolton is not open. I mean, Bolton looks to be kind of almost ready to open, very limited hours by appointment. Hudson's
Yeah.
not open. Marlboro's not open.
I wouldn't expect Hudson, Marlboro, Clinton, even
Right.
Bolton is a big library. I wouldn't expect most of them to open, like especially like Hudson has that really large children's center, and so does Bolton. So that's a big draw.
Some of the things that we're looking on prior to opening are the capacity of the library building, which was built in 1928, as you know.
Right.
The capacity was 50 people. So I know when we get more than 5 people in this upstairs, it's almost claustrophobic.
Right.
And trying to keep people 6 feet apart. So it's going to be very limited is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
should invite people in to browse during limited hours.
Yep.
I don't know how useful that is to our patrons. But as the climate changes in the wintertime, we're going to have to come up with a new protocol.
Yeah, it's hard to like
Yeah,
being able to order through CW Mars was great, but
yeah.
I mean the kids especially would rather go in, and even me, I'd rather be able to go in and
Well, that's
browse the
mainly
shelves. That's the
that's
hard part.
the biggest drawback is for. I mean, I feel bad for the youth services people like Sarah, because
Yeah.
there really isn't too much that they can do other than virtual. They can try outdoor programming, and some libraries have had some successful outdoor programs. But even then, the kids want to run and be together. I mean, they're outside
Yeah,
and
it's really hard to
they
keep
want
the
to play
kids.
with their friends, and so it's a very hard situation to control. And then as
Right.
far as the adults, um, the curbside is kind of what they do anyway. I mean, the social interaction they have is just happenstance that they just happen to run into a neighbor. And they're doing that outside now. So, I'll go out there and deliver their books and we'll be standing, and we'll have the same kind of interactions we used to have in the library. I mean, I'm not saying it's the same thing. And then we're having to quarantine the books, so there is a delay between the books coming to us from other libraries and us getting them to people. And that's a burdensome, kind of a tiresome process, but that's what was
Right.
recommended, and that's what we're doing because we want to stay safe. We have been thinking about reopening, how we're going to do it. We're planning for it, but I can't really say right now.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm a big personal fan of the appointments.
yeah,
I know even like a lot of the larger apple orchards are doing that, where like you can go to their website and pick one of their blocks at time to come
right.
and browse or whatever, and then that way you have more control over the
The
crowd.
libraries that are open are doing either that, or they're having people who visit the library, they sign in when they come in, they use hand sanitizer, they get a limited amount of time, like 30 minutes, and
Mhm.
so if the capacity, if they reach 10 people, then no one else can come in till one of these people leaves.
Gotcha.
And
It's a lot of,
what are you describing, Bob? Are you describing what other libraries are?
Yeah.
yes,
Other
there are
libraries are already open.
some libraries are using that model that are open.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody locally that I'm aware of. But we would probably try and do something like that. So we'd have a list of people that were in the library, um, And that's, yeah.
Yeah.
So we have
'Cause you
been,
have to have
we have
increase.
been thinking it through, and we have been looking for ways to reopen, but we're
Okay.
not quite ready.
Sounds good.
Was there anything else in particular on my director report you'd like me to mention? We are getting new PCs, which
I
is
saw
good.
that.
Yeah, we're running Microsoft 7 on most of these machines. And so we're getting 5. That'll replace all the staff and one of the patron access.
Now, are
Excellent.
these brand new or did they get them from the state surplus?
I believe these are brand new.
Excellent.
What they did is they're doing a lease. The town is
Oh,
leasing
perfect.
for everyone. So
Yeah,
they're
that's
finally getting this down where they can get a good price, and they're
Good.
going, our IT company, CM Geeks, are taking care of doing the installation.
yeah with
Excellent.
electronics.
All the library will have to pay for is for Microsoft.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to pay for that.
If you reach out to Microsoft personally, because you are a nonprofit.
Yeah,
They-
there's a website called TechSoup, and I've signed up for it. But I had an issue. I looked at ordering Microsoft for one of the computers, and I had some issues. I can't remember off the top of my head because it was about a year ago.
I remember we talked about it.
Yeah, TechSoup
Yeah.
is they for nonprofits, and you're supposed to get a huge discount on Microsoft.
Yeah,
So
because
I'm going to try again with that.
yeah, I used to get computers for the state surplus for a private school, and they wouldn't have an operating system. You would have to buy Windows.
Okay.
But because we were a nonprofit as a school, you go directly to the Microsoft website, not
Right.
a provider, and you can actually put in your nonprofit information, like, Berlin Town Library, and they will let you download the operating system for free.
Right.
Then you only have to pay for Office, which you'll get at a discount through CM Geeks.
Yeah. I'm
Alright.
going to make every effort to get it as cheaply as we can.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right.
Okay, and I think that's about it for the director report, and yes, unless you have some other questions.
No.
Anybody questions? No?
No?
All right. I will move to accept the director's report as submitted. Lynette Wheeler, Chair.
I seconded.
Second, thank you.
Seconded by Jean Mitchell.
And how do you vote, Jean Mitchell?
We're gonna do all in favor. Jean
Linda?
Mitchell, aye.
Aye.
All right.
Now Bob. Oh no,
Bob doesn't get to vote.
Sorry.
I don't get to vote.
All right. Is accepted as submitted unanimously. And moving on to the financial report.
In my director report, I did mention the state aid program and how I am currently working on those reports that we have to maintain with the state to maintain our certification. So it's a 2-step process. And they have made some changes due to COVID and libraries being closed, because there is a regulation about how many hours that the public libraries are required to be open. And also in the financial part of it, there is a materials expenditure requirement. So you need to spend a large amount of your appropriation on materials. Do you want me to hold up for Linda? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like you want to wait. I don't know why.
Thanks for everything. Love you.
What happens on live TV?
It's all good.
You okay, Linda?
Yes, thank you. My children
Okay.
were leaving. I had
Oh,
to say
that's
goodbye.
fine. Oh, sure. I didn't want you to miss anything.
Well, I hope I didn't. You were talking about the financial report, the state aid program.
Yeah. Well, as a way of
Our reports,
segueing,
some changes due to COVID.
yes. So I am working on those reports. One of them is due October 2nd. And Lynette, you'll need to sign that. And then this financial part is
Okay.
due on October 16th. All right. So I'll be in touch with you
Okay.
before that. And I can go through the report a little bit with you so you know what you're signing.
Okay.
Okay. And then in terms of this year's, our current status, I take it you got the spreadsheet. If you have a need for me to explain, Linda, just how the spreadsheet works, each month you can see the warrants that were processed. And they autofill mostly into the spreadsheet. So we're just looking at this current year's budget here, and we're only 2 months in, so we're in good shape. Our spending is moving along the way it should. One thing I did pay for, and I usually pay for this in July, is our membership with CW Mars Network. And when I pay for that, I use our additional funds, which isn't reflected on this spreadsheet. It's reflected on a ledger that June keeps. And I did
Okay.
pay for that. This year it was $3,900. So it was up a couple of $100 from last year. And of course, it was up a couple of $100
$3,700,
from
yeah.
what I actually budgeted for. But we did have the money in our additional funds. So mostly the monies that we
Okay.
get from the state, a lot of that is used to pay for our membership in the network. And there's a reason for doing that. It's just because it gives us more monies to spend on materials. And as I said before, we have to spend it's determined by the population of the town, but we need to spend near 20% of our total appropriation on things that are considered materials. And it's not just books or DVDs. There are other things that are included in there. Things like you could, if you buy a patron access computer, since the patrons will be using it, they consider that a materials expense. So there's a list of hundreds of things actually that are considered materials expense. Any questions about the spreadsheet?
No.
Okay. The thing that's reflected on the bottom of the spreadsheet are town articles. Those are things that are on the capital plan. So we have monies in there for a new well, which we may be turning back to the town.
I believe Margaret was, last I knew, was going to start. Well, she was going to start the process, but then we weren't sure. And then we decided, I guess, that she was going to start the process to return it. Because
Yeah.
the only issue we were really having was just not a test company. So now that we have the test company and everything, that pretty much takes care of what the issues were they wanted us to fix.
Yeah, the water was, they had to maintain that it was, safe. And also, if we had, one of the septic plans actually called for a new well.
Yep.
Because they were going to move the septic over to close by where the well is now. So she's the one that recommended that we hold on to that. Otherwise, I would have turned it back because I didn't see any reason that we would keep it. But obviously going to go with what she thinks. And then we have the library septic system monies, nearly $100,000. And the others are for general repairs because we have to pay for a lot of our repairs when the highway department does not build in everything into their budget for building repairs. So regular building maintenance can get expensive in an old building, as we found out.
Yes.
But
Right.
yeah, I
Anything?
think that's it, Lynette. Yeah.
Okay. No questions, Linda, Jean, about financials?
No.
Right. I will move to accept the financial report as submitted.
I will second it.
Thank you. A roll call vote to accept it as submitted. Jean Mitchell,
I accept.
Linda Yates,
I accept.
and Lynette Whaler, I accept. So it's accepted as submitted unanimously. And we kind of already, for old business, we already just discussed, I think the septic update was really all we had going on in old business. And I think we kind of discussed that, yeah?
Yep.
Yep.
Going through the other things. That's a topic that pops up in a lot of places.
Yeah. It's very
Um,
interwoven.
Yes, so we'll move on to new business. I know there wasn't anything on the agenda, like specifically, but I just was wondering, do we have many library card signups? I know that we've been posting that it's library card sign up month. I didn't know if there was any.
Well, on a pretty regular basis, I'm hoping that people are aware that we can do it over the phone, or they can. I did have at least one person who photocopied the information we need, from their license or whatever document that to confirm that they live in town.
Okay.
And then basically, once we have enough information to be able to create the card. But we do have to confirm those things.
Okay.
It can be people's card renewals went crazy because after being closed for 3 months, a lot of people's cards had expired. So for a while, we were doing like many a day. And but in terms of new cards, I don't know if
Is
I'm not sure how aware people are that they can manage to get a new card.
Is Sarah the one that does most of the Facebook stuff?
She is, yeah.
She is, yeah. I would maybe mention to her, ask her to do a post on the library's page, on the town page, and on like
Right.
the Berlin Neighbors Connect, which she has been doing, and the
Right.
school page too. There's a Berlin Parents Connect page. She knows all the pages because I see everything that she posts.
Yeah.
That's maybe one that specifically says, "Hey, did you know you can
do
renew
it.
your card right over the phone?"
Right.
Yeah, give us a call. We'll talk you through how to,
Okay.
order books over the phone. Just
All right. Yeah, we usually work with the schools. The
and
the
that starts
librarian.
on the 14th. School
Yeah.
starts back on the 14th.
The librarian there usually tries to get anyone who doesn't have a library card signed up.
Yeah.
And we'll send her her forms, and she'll send us the information, and then we'll make the cards. And we were having a special day when they would come to the library and pick up their cards, and
Yeah.
we'd have something planned for them. So we'll see how we can do it this year.
Sounds good. And I assume that with everything going on, there's no events or anything scheduled.
No, the STEM, which is a very popular program, we're going to attempt to do that virtually. So people are
Yep.
signing up. So there is a sign up for it. What will
saw.
happen is all the people who get the sign up will get a link from Sarah to the Zoom
Okay.
or whatever they're using. And then, it's obviously not the same because STEM is really a very hands-on, usually, program. So it'll be interesting to see how they do it. I guess they've come up with something. And that starts actually the 14th as well.
I've seen kids get kits, like they picked up little kits, and then that way when they go to do the Zoom, they can follow along
okay.
hands-on.
All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
That makes
usually there's like little makers kits or something, and they'll grab the bag for that particular week and then
yeah.
follow along on Zoom.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they
Yeah,
usually
just
have
maybe
some kind of a
where
thing.
they just tell you got items from home.
Yep.
That you go through. They'll say, "Oh, these are a list of supplies. If you have it, you can do it." And then what did we want to do about the payroll? How do we go about?
Yeah, so, I mean, at the moment, since we're doing it electronically, to have two of you sign instead of one designated person is not presented much of a problem. You know, prior to that, prior to this whole thing, um, it was good to have one person assigned to do it. And I had always assumed that the chairman had to have power. So I thought when we elected a chairman, you know, and we also mentioned that the chairman was Lynette Wheeler, that Lynette Wheeler
Yep.
would be. But
Had the
somehow,
signing authority.
somehow that didn't translate to the town accountant who thinks
Yeah,
that.
it's weird though, because even the chair, not Charlene, the one before her,
Yeah,
she's saying the same thing you're saying.
yes. And,
So
you know,
I
this
don't
has happened almost every time where we had to make this change. You know, perhaps they changed, you know, June has to deal with auditors and things all the time, and sometimes they change the rules. And if they
Okay.
notice something, they'll just say, well, listen, next time, you know, make sure, you know, when she first mentioned to me, you can't vote the position, I really had no idea what she was talking about. I thought, I just didn't get it.
right.
Yeah, so, you
Yeah,
know,
she made it
it's
sound like
not, somehow it wasn't enough to say the chairman, Lynette Wheeler, is the designated. I thought that's what we said in the meeting.
yeah.
Yep.
So if you want to vote now and just make Lynette the payroll, designated payroll assignee, uh, you know, the reason we had one person as well on top of that is just so I wouldn't have to chase all three of you down, or
Yep.
two of the three of
Right.
you. So it's easy to try to get one person, and it's just every 2 weeks we have to do this. So.
Yeah, because I mean, for the last year, it had only been just Charlene signing. So I assumed it only needed to be one person, but then the email
Yeah.
from June made it almost seem like a majority of us needed to sign, and that seemed
Yeah,
a little
Odd.
that email confused me too. Right.
okay.
So if
I
we,
think sometimes
on
because
that-
we're a board, you know, the rest of the town departments operate a little differently. But
Right.
because with boards, the rules are different for each board. And so, yeah, but in any case, I think, as I said, it's probably not going to be a problem for now. So, but if you want to vote and make Lynette the sole signee, that's fine.
Linda, were you going to say something?
no, I was just going to ask if we could vote on that, if that's something that would work.
Yes.
I,
And then June will have to see the approved minutes from this meeting before she can do it.
okay. I propose to have Lynette Wheeler, Chair of the Trustees, be the sole designated payroll signer. Can I get a second?
I second it. Linda Yates.
All right. All in favor by roll call? Jean Mitchell, aye. Lynette Wheeler
I approve.
and Linda Yates.
I approve.
So Lynette should be the sole signing authority for payroll. Approved unanimously.
Okay.
Does anybody else have anything else for new business?
I do not.
Neither do I.
Then in moving on to trustee concerns, the only concern I could think of was just wanted to check in with the fact that, you know, we're moving into the fall and Linda joining us to make sure that the second Tuesday at 5:30 is still working for everybody.
I'm
It's
okay with it.
good for me.
That works for you, Linda, yeah?
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
All right, so that means open up my calendar. So we've got the next meeting will be October 13th, followed by November 10th, and then December 8th to finish out the year.
Mm-hmm.
All at 5:30.
Yep.
All right. Anybody got anything else?
Nope.
Nope.
Bob, you good?
I think I'm good. I had a department's head meeting this morning, as I mentioned.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And I'm just trying to think about some of the things that were discussed there, if I need to share anything with you that you might not be aware of. I don't know, the town is concerned about voting, and some of the issues around, how to set up the space.
I thought the primary worked out pretty good. I mean,
Yeah, I voted
In and out.
Clinton, but it was, they had it, I had to walk about a half a mile through.
oh yeah.
But yeah, it was really, but I imagine, I don't know how it will be here in Berlin. It's kind of a tight space where they usually vote, so.
Well, they had us line up for the primary outside, social
Yeah, I
distance.
saw that.
And
When I was
then-
going by.
Yeah, and then they would allow they had like 3 voting booths set up, spaced out, because it
Yeah.
wasn't that busy. And
Right.
they would allow just so many people in when they checked you in, and then once they saw you come out, the next person or 2
Yeah.
people could go in. And it
Yeah.
was really smooth. The only thing confusing was you had to park in the back of the town hall because you were
Okay.
going directly into the downstairs door.
Yeah,
And the sign kind of needed to be a little more near the parking lot because a lot of people missed it and had to walk down and around the corner of the building.
yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm sure it'll work out.
I thought it worked out swell. I mean, my grandmother is 92 with the walker, and she had no problem.
Oh, good.
I think November
Oh,
will
wow.
be a different story.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot more.
November elections is going to be a lot busier.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
busy.
yeah, I think so.
I
Definitely.
voted by mail and it was easy.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
hopefully a
would
lot of
this need
people
to be
did.
in the minutes? I'm sorry.
No,
What?
no,
Would
no.
this need to be in the minutes?
Other than the fact that I had a department heads meeting, no.
Yeah, I put that in earlier. Yeah,
Alright.
maybe I'll put it
Yeah.
in.
Yeah,
No,
Sorry.
you don't.
yeah,
It doesn't need to be verbatim.
yeah.
Okay.
So
The other thing I would mention as well, I mentioned in my director report about the library pages. So where they're all high schoolers, they're going to be starting school. And so I've asked them, as soon as they're aware of good days for them to work, to let me know their schedules. Because
Okay.
I've been, through the summer, I was having them come in at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, just because that worked well for us.
right.
But I'll have to adjust that. And so we'll work it out with them. I'm trying to get them as many hours as I can. When we just have only certain days where we're really very busy for shelving and processing new books and things. So, and we don't want them to have to do the book drop, which is something they would normally do, because we have a process. We're wearing gloves, mask, we're wiping everything down. So we didn't want to get them involved in that process at this point. So,
Could we have them do like other little small jobs? Like
yeah, we usually
You know,
do. I mean, they have a
reading-
job description, but pretty much anything that other duties as assigned type of thing, where anything we can find for them to do. We've had them cleaning the book drop, like it's
Yep.
stainless steel, and we have like a special cleaner, just things like that. So we're trying to, yeah, and there are things that are useful that need to get done.
Yep.
But there's only so much, and we have 4 of them. And they're all on different schedules, so
Yeah.
it's a little bit of challenging there. And then as far as the performance reviews, I think
That
I
was
they're due
next
at
on
the
my
end of
list.
the month. Oh, you were going to bring that up? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I could provide you, I don't know if you have a copy of the one you did last year.
whatever you sent out, I have that.
No, that one I think is blank.
What I sent was just a form that's blank. That's the one you can use that to write this
That
year.
one to fill out.
But if you need a guide, I can send you last year's so you can see what you said about me last year.
Yeah, could you do that, please? I would appreciate it.
Yeah, I would love it if you sent that.
All right, I'll do that first thing tomorrow, okay?
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
And then,
Can I just ask, what's our, do we all participate in this? How does that work?
Well,
That's
since
what
you've
I was
only
gonna
been here for a while, you're welcome to participate.
yeah,
But
Jean, last year, I feel like we all did it together.
Yes, we
did,
did
yeah.
at a meeting.
That's
Okay.
probably best so everyone
So-
can, yeah.
I
And so
think we
Linda
each,
can learn more about it too.
Did we do it? We did it without Bob, right?
yeah, we had our own individual forms and then we all came together to kind of do a consensus.
Yeah.
And Bob was just kind of like in his office.
All right. Well, do you guys? So we still have to announce it for as open meeting, I believe.
If you're all there, yes, or even two
So
of us.
even if two of us are there, we have to announce it. I'm just trying to see what she said.
Yeah, if you have an issue with the
Yeah.
deadline, I would just contact Margaret.
It's the 25th. So, do you guys want to either meet? Are you coming back to Massachusetts? Would you rather do it via Zoom? We can
I'm
meet
gonna be
at
in
19
Massachusetts.
Carter.
I'm going to be in Massachusetts next week for a couple of days on Monday and Tuesday. I don't know if that works.
I mean, if we can't get 19 Carter, we could always put in for like a Zoom meeting or something.
Yeah, we can do it. Whatever you
I
guys are.
have access, we have access to the 1870 as well, so
Oh, yeah.
you could use that too.
Yeah.
So,
I would love to do it next week while I'm home if that works for
on
everybody else.
Monday or Tuesday, which day is
Yeah.
better for you?
I have a dentist appointment on Tuesday at 11, so be, like early on Tuesday morning or anytime Monday.
Okay, Jean? what's a good time
My
for you?
schedule is totally open, so whatever works for you is good with me.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to meet outside, you could meet outside.
Yeah. What about, do you guys want to do like Monday at like 2?
Sure.
Yeah, I can do that.
And we would meet at 19 Carter, is that what we're saying, or?
Yeah,
I
we
think we're
can either. It doesn't
maybe
matter.
1780 because he has the
19,
keys and will
18.
definitely be able to go in.
Okay,
Yeah, well, 19 Carter, we'd have to be outside. The grounds are open.
right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, she's got to sign up. The grounds are open. And I mean, as far as that goes, we can meet at the farm. All right. So Monday, 2 p.m., you want to do it at 1870? Is that what we want to say?
Sure.
Yeah, that's good. It's good with me.
You
Okay.
doing it this Monday at 2?
Monday at 2 p.m.
Okay.
So I'll put it on my town government. I don't know how to word it.
And that's the prep meeting to do.
This is the performance eval. So Bob tomorrow is going to email us last year's eval. He emailed us today a copy of the blank one. So you could print that and write notes on it if you wanted to. You're new at it, but you've known Bob. And then he'll email us a copy of last year so you can see what we said last year.
Right.
And then we're just gonna update it. It's just
So this will be the meeting where we update it, we create the performance review for this year, and then we'll meet with Bob to deliver it.
No, I have to send it to Margaret, I believe. Is that how it works, Bob?
Sorry.
After it's all good, it's all good. So we'll get together on Monday and redo a new one, and then am I supposed to hand deliver this or email it to Margaret?
You
Or
can
to you?
you can put it in an envelope marked private and personal or something like that. And
Oh, yeah,
then
okay.
I can deliver for you if you want. It needs to go to the town office and just be given to her. So if I could do it, or if you want to go to the town office, just ring them up and say, Margaret, I have Bob's performance review.
Okay, sounds good.
And then who delivers it to you, Bob? Who talks to you about it?
Margaret. I assume Margaret. Does Margaret go over it with you afterwards?
No,
No,
It's
we
all-
did at the meeting.
yeah, yeah, you guys
I
can go
remember
over it with me.
Charlene and stuff. We
At the
went
next
over it with
meeting?
Bob.
You
At our
can
next
basically give it to me, and if I have questions, I can contact you. But
Okay.
it's
So do we
basically,
need two, do we
yeah.
need two copies? One for you, one for Margaret?
yes,
Okay.
Okay, and just so I'm clear,
mhm.
so it gets sent to Margaret, and Bob gets a copy of it from Margaret,
From you guys.
from us.
We're
And
gonna get,
then when we meet next, we
in
discuss it
October?
with Bob? Is that how it works? Or do we not
Yeah.
discuss it with you? I don't understand that part.
Yeah, in the past, it's usually just given to me. I read it, and if there's anything that I would like to discuss, it's basically,
Yeah, and if,
it's your call, you're reviewing
Okay.
me, and, we're different from other town departments. Margaret will be meeting with each one of the other department heads, but you guys are the department head for the library. So
Yeah.
it's
if
all
we have
within,
anything,
it's within your realm to do my performance appraisal.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
yes, but she just gets a copy, and one of the things you recommend, you know, whether there's a pay increase or not. So everything here in town, of course, is a grade and a step. Everyone's at a certain grade. That's how most government, municipalities and everything works.
Yeah.
So whatever grade and step I'm at, which I don't even remember, you can either recommend that I get a step or not. A lot of years, the town only gives cost of living. This year, they didn't
Yeah.
even give that. They kept it flat. So just FYI.
So
Right.
we would discuss that when we are writing the performance review next week.
Right.
And then we would recommend that to Margaret?
Yeah, no, here's the thing. I
Okay.
misspoke there. We have a personnel committee now. And so this will go also to the personnel committee. I think it tells you in her email, it will tell you
Yeah, it's in the email.
exactly who it's supposed to go to. But obviously, the personnel committee has to be involved there too. So it's them and Margaret.
Okay.
And then in terms
we-
of,
But do we recommend pay increase for you
you
or?
can,
If it's
I'm
on the
just,
evaluation.
yeah, just FYI, it's a financial committee in the end who decide.
Okay.
The personnel committee and the financial committee have to work it out.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm sorry if I'm all over the place there,
No,
but
that's okay.
it's
okay,
actually
okay.
worked, the process has worked a little differently through all the 7 years that I've been here. And now we have a town administrator on top of that. We did, for a
So-
long time, we didn't have a personnel committee. So it would just go to the finance committee and it would go to the town accountant. So that's where we're at.
Okay.
So when you give us the copy of last year's, at the top of it, it'll say current grade step.
Yes, it
Are we
will.
just, it's the same for this year? Like when
Well,
I
we're-
fill this out, am I gonna
Well,
just copy what it says?
we're actually looking at FY '22 now,
Okay,
because that budget process is going to be starting very soon.
right,
So
okay.
So we're recommending for 2022?
yes, yes. Because this year's already underway in
Yep.
FY '21. Yeah. So I know, trying to keep track of all these different fiscal years and when things are due. We don't even have we usually get a calendar guide for when all the steps in the budget process. We haven't gotten one yet, but that I will provide you guys with it so you can see how the town formulates the budget and when things are due. So you can keep me on my toes.
Okay. All right. I think we're good. Does anybody have anything else?
I do not.
All right. So Jean and Linda, I will see you Monday, 2:00 at 1870. Bob, are you letting us in over there?
I have the key, yes. So just contact me and I can walk over there with you. There's actually a code. There's a box in the back and there's a code that will let you in. And you have to go in the back door. You can't go in the front right now. They have that. They don't want people going in the front door.
So is it the door in the kitchen then?
Yes, goes
Okay.
into the kitchen. So, and there's a box outside. So if I can find the code, I'll make sure it works and I'll send it to you. And then you
All
don't
right.
have, then you can just go there directly. Okay?
Okay, sounds good. So I'll talk to you. If I don't hear from you
All right.
before Monday, I'll call you when
Okay,
when I'm
good.
headed down there. And I'll bring copies. Just make sure you email us the last year's copy.
Yep.
I'll bring the blank
When I turned
ones.
around earlier, that's what I was looking for. I
Last year,
can't
I
remember where I
figured.
put it.
I figured you're doing it while you're thinking of it.
All right.
All right, then. So I move to adjourn the trustees meeting.
I second Jean Mitchell.
All right. So in favor of adjourning, Lynette Wheeler is voting in favor. Jean Mitchell,
In favor?
Linda Yates.
In favor?
All right, meeting adjourned at 6:31 p.m.